Wednesday, December 1st is here, and I have my favorite 5 bets in the NBA on the way. And because we got so close to our parlay on Monday, we're going to run it back with one today at the end of the video, plus 2,600 odds, something that will turn a $10 bet into $260. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. And before we recap yesterday, another 3-in-1 day, our 6th winning day in the last 7 days. So make sure you click that subscribe button down below. Let's talk about some major changes on the channel. And really the biggest one, we have partnered with dimers.com. And if you don't know what they are, you should definitely check out their website. But they're doing a couple different things for us. Number one, we have our live stream starting up on tonight, on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you come check it out. It is a live stream sponsored by Dimers. And we're just going to come out and answer any questions that you guys have. Any betting question. We used to do this all the way back in April, but we're going to be doing this every single Wednesday. So make sure you set your alarm clocks. 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be live for about 30 minutes. I'll leave the live stream video pod up after the video, but then I'll end up taking it down closer to tip-off of the games. Now, number two, you'll see our thumbnails are a little bit different because they helped us and they changed our logos a little bit, and we're going to be riding with it. So we think they're super clean. Hopefully you like what they came up with. Very, very similar to what we've always been rocking. So let Dimers know if you like what they did. And number three, they gave us our very own landing page on their website. So it is linked down below. It is dimers.com/COS, and it has a bunch of exclusive sign-up bonuses for a bunch of exclusive sportsbooks. So you can see things like $1,000 risk-free bets, $1,000 deposit matches, things like that. So if you are in the legal states, definitely go check out the link down below. You'll be able to get some access to some exclusive sign-up bonuses. So go check it out, linked in the description, and I'll pin it in the comments down below. Now let's recap yesterday, a 3-in-1 day, winning back over 1.5 units. Really had a great end to our November, and we love to see that. Now let's talk about the play. Steven Adams, yeah, he goes under. A lot of you people were in my comments on Twitter saying, oh, blah, blah, blah. We're screwed. No, this is Steven Adams. You got to trust him. He still played 26 minutes, way more than I expected, but it's in Steven Adams. You have to trust, and of course, he goes under. Now, only loss of the day, Scotty Barnes, over 10.5 rebounds plus assists, finishes on the hook again. I told you he always finishes on the hook, and I guess I spoke it into existence. He had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, finishing with 10 on the dot. He had an 8th rebound that cashed, but they ended up taking it away from him. Now, DeAndre Ayton under 11.5 rebounds. I guess I'll take the hook for Scotty Barnes if it means we're going to get the hook for DeAndre Ayton, who ends with 11 rebounds. And the Blazers minus 8.5. Despite no Damian Lillard, they still cash for us. You love to see that. 3-in-1. It's Wednesday. Let's have another great day in the NBA. We're going to start with my best bet of the day. Joel Embiid, the process, over 22.5 points, minus 120 on DraftKings. You can take this at 23.5, as I believe that's the line on FanDuel, but 22.5 is available on a bunch of other books, so I would ride with that one. Now, Embiid, finally back from injury. Well, it really was an injury. It was on the health and safety protocols list, and he returned. And in his 2 games versus Minnesota, he dropped 42 points on them. The next one was against Orlando. He only dropped 16 points on 4 of 16 shooting, and he did get to the line, and he shot 7 for 10 from the free throw line. Now, the best part is because he's getting to the free throw line. Despite a lot of guys not being able to get to the line, Joel Embiid still continues to do it time and time again. That's where he made his living all of last year. And you look at Embiid, he will be in the long shot parlay a little bit later, and we're going to talk about it basically here, and you'll understand why. Now, so far this season, Embiid is averaging 22.8 points per game on just 42.9% shooting. Now, that's much lower than what we've been accustomed to seeing from Embiid. Now, last year, he averaged 28.5 points per game, 51.3% shooting from the field, and on the career, he's a 48.4% shooter. So, him to be down to 42.9, that has to correct eventually, and I think it might tonight. Now, he is shooting 41% from 3, and the real reason we're here, he's taking on the Boston Celtics, and whatever reason, he wakes up and he loves to play the Boston Celtics. Now, he just absolutely destroys them. Now, in his career, when he plays at Boston, which they are at Boston at TD Garden, and this dates back to 2017, here's how many points he scored against them in their own home arena. He's at 35, 11, 38, 34, 23, 26, and 23 points. Now, he's cashed this over in 6 of 7 career matchups. Like I said, that's dating back all the way to 2017 for his whole career. And now, even if he isn't playing in Boston, he's still absolutely dominated them because he's averaged 26.5 points per game over a 14-game span against this team. He scored 35-plus points in 3 straight matchups versus the Boston Celtics. That doesn't even include the bubble back in 2020 when Embiid scored 30-plus points in 3 of the 4 matchups in the playoffs, and then another 26 in the first game of that series. Embiid has hit this over in 13 of his last 15 games versus the Celtics. And I think he continues that again today. The 2 games that he went under in the last 15 against the Celtics, he played just 23 minutes. I think he'll play a lot more tonight, and I'm going to trust the process, and I think he can get us back in the winning category for the best bet of the day, which fell yesterday after 3 straight winners. So we're going to lock in Joel Embiid over 22.5 points. Now, moving on to 2 over-unders, And come on, you knew I was going to take this one. I mentioned it on Twitter. OKC team total under 108.5 points, now -110 on BetMGM. And as the leader of the Thunder under community, I must take it here because I have to lead you guys by example. Now, I do want to say they're bound to hit this over. I mean, they can't possibly go under every single game, right? Like, right? I mean, you'd think, but they take on the Rockets again, the team they just took on a couple nights ago. And the only thing I really don't love is that the Thunder are at home today. But still, I'll ride with it. The Thunder average 101.8 points per game at home this season. And in 10 home games so far this season, they've only hit the over in just one of them, a game against the Los Angeles Lakers, which it seems like almost every team hits their over against that team. Now, in 3 matchups versus the Rockets this season, they've scored 89, 101, and 91 points, going under in all 3 games. Now, they've also gone under in 5 of their last 6 games against the Rockets in terms of this line. And as a whole this season, they played in 20 games. Yes, 20-20. So 10 plus 10, 20 games. They've gone under in 19 of 20 games, 95% of the time. So eventually they got to go over this line, right? Like they can't stay below it every single time, but based solely on the numbers, I think it's a little too high, 108.5 points. I'm saying you can't do it. Now, obviously, they can knock down some shots. They could get hot tonight. The Rockets could play no defense, or the referees could just play them into this over. But still, Houston Rockets, they're the hottest team in the NBA, 4-16 overall, 3 straight. We love to see it. And say it with me, friends, as we always say, you can't spell thunder without the word under. So we'll take their team total under 108.5 points on BetMGM. Moving on to another team total under, the Orlando Magic. Taking your under, 99.5 team total points, -115 on DraftKings. Now, the Magic, they've been a weird team to track this season. They're good on the road, bad at home, and today they're at home against the Denver Nuggets. Now, in 9 home games this season, the Magic averaging 94.6 points per game, so 5 or 6 points below what they need to get the 100 points to hit this mark. Now, they got to hit the century mark. Now, as a whole, they've gone under in 7 of those 9 home games, including 4 straight home games under this line. Now, the 2 teams that they went over this against were one against the Charlotte Hornets at home, not a surprise. They don't play a lick of defense. And number 2 was against the Utah Jazz, which was a surprise. They shot 49% from the field, beat the Jazz outright. Now, the Magic averaged 40% from the field at home this season. On paper, the Nuggets' defensive rating might not look the best. On paper, like I said, they're 17th, but a lot of those games have really been without Jokic. That the team just played 0 defense. Now, with Jokic in the lineup, their defensive rating goes up to 5th or 6th best in the NBA, and they'll have Jokic back out there, their defensive anchor. Now, in their last 2 games in Orlando, the Denver Nuggets, that is, they've held the Magic to 87 and 99 points, going under in both of them. Now, you add on to that the Magic's promising first-round pick, Jalen Suggs, is out with a fractured thumb. Now, he's one of their only ball handlers on the team. Now, Cole Anthony should be active for this game, so he has been out the past couple games, but maybe we'll add his props as the day goes on, but once he's off the floor, there's really no one to run the point guard, so I don't think they'll be shooting a lot of smart shots, and I think they'll go under this 99.5 points. I'll take the team total under 99.5 and ride with it. Now let's move on to 2 more player props. Christian Wood, over 31.5 points plus rebounds, -110 on DraftKings. Now, take Wood's PRA line if you don't have his points plus rebounds. I just think that means it's 33.5. I think we have the best edge on this points plus rebounds line instead of PRAs, but in 3 games versus OKC this season, he's had 14 plus rebounds, so take his rebounding prop if you want. And spoiler, he might be in the parlay in a second. Now, over the last 3 games since Jalen Green has been out, will remain out with a hamstring injury, he's had 26, 49, and 45 points plus rebounds. The 26 coming against the very good Chicago Bulls defensive team. Now, in 4 games versus OKC, 3 this year, 1 last year, he's had 35, 45, 24, 45 points plus rebounds, cashing easily in 3 of 4. The 1 game he missed was a game he shot 4 for 16. So, you know what? I can't even be mad. The biggest thing I like is that he's shooting the ball, which is something that really holds back Christian Wood, especially with Jalen Green out there. Now, this Rockets team, a little bit different than they have been in the past, earlier on in the season. Finally, Jalen Green was active in those games. Daniel Tice was starting. Christian Wood's the only big man they got out there, and that really shows in his statistics. Now, Wood, he's had 16 plus field goal attempts in 4 straight games versus the OKC Thunder, and in his last 21 games with 16 plus attempts, like I said, he's done that in 4 straight versus the Thunder. He has hit this over in 16 of those 21 games, 76% of the time, and he's actually scored 20 plus points in 20 of his last 25 games, shooting 16 plus times. I think he'll have that same number of shot attempts. Not a lot of guys on the Rocket team to take shots away from him. I think he'll get it done again with Kevin Porter Jr. feeding him the ball. We'll ride with him again with Jalen Green out. Take Christian Woods over 31.5 points plus rebounds. Now let's move into our last play of the day. Isaac Okoro, under 15.5 PRAs, -115. Now, Okoro, you're like, who the heck is this guy? I'm Googling, who the heck's Isaac Okoro? Well, yeah, he's the starting shooting guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and today they take on the Miami Heat. Now, the Heat are a little bit banged up. Now, Tyler Hero should be back. Now, Jimmy Butler questionable, Bam Adebayo questionable, but still, I do think they'll get it done and play some good defense. Now, they're still a good defense regardless of who they got out there. Still got PJ Tucker hounding people, but still, you look at these two teams play super slow. Currently, they're 22nd and 27th in pace, two of the bottom 10 teams in terms of pace in the league. Okoro as a whole this season averaging 7.7 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, and 1.9 assists per game for a total of 13.9 PRAs. Now, he needs 16 PRAs to hit this, so he's averaging 2 less than this line. Now, in 14 games this season, he has gone under in 8 of them, so 57% of the time. That includes 3 straight games he's gone under. Now, of the 6 games that Okoro has gone over, he's been playing 36 plus minutes in 3 of those games. He's been playing tons of minutes, but I don't think he will play that many minutes again today. Now, he should, of course, if you're a guy in the NBA that plays over 3/4 of the game, which will be 36 plus minutes, you better hit this over or else you're really trash. And I don't think Okoro is actually that bad of an NBA player. Now, the Cavs will be without Dean Wade, the GOAT. Cedi Osman obviously will be out as well, but still, you look at the Cavs, they're finally getting healthy, finally got Evan Mobley back, got Lauri Markkanen back, got Kevin Love back, and they finally get to trot out their 3 7-foot lineup every single time. Sadly, I just don't think there's enough shot attempts for Mr. Okoro. Last game, even with Osman and with Dean Wade out, he still only played 27 minutes. In his 3 career games versus the Miami Heat, he has somehow scored 10 plus points in all 3, which I don't necessarily see that as sustainable, but he has gone under in 2 of those 3 games. Now, the one time he went over was back last April 2021. He scored 17 points that game, which would be a season high if he did that today. He'll likely be matched up defensively, guarding Tyler Hero or Kyle Lowry. So not only, and because Okoro is known for his defense. That's what he's best at. And you could always see foul trouble guarding those 2 guys. And you'll see him away from the rim because those guys are the primary ball handlers for this Miami Heat team. So, and plus you get the Cavs 7-foot lineup. So he's already not going to really have a chance for a ton of rebounds. I'll take Isaac Okoro under 15.5 points plus rebounds plus assists, PRAs, and I'll ride with it because I really only think the only reason he hits this is if Duncan Robinson just absolutely lets him do whatever he wants on defensive end. But I don't think he'll do that. I like his potential. I'm going to ride with Isaac Okoro. Just too many mouths to feed on this Cavs offense. So I'll take his under 15.5 PRAs. Now, there was a couple other bets I did consider. I liked a lot in that Houston OKC game. Won't force anymore. Like Darius Baisley's under as well as Kevin Porter Jr.'s over in in rebounds plus assists, but we're going to move on. Maybe we'll add some of those as the day goes on, and maybe we'll add one and we'll talk about it in the live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you come check it out. Now, let's talk about the parlay now, plus 2,600 odds. Like I said, a $10 bet turns it into $260. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're taking his first play, 30 plus points and a win. Joel Embiid, 30 plus points, just regular, no win needed, and Christian Wood over 14 plus rebounds. Now, all these lines, plus 180 for Giannis. Now, Giannis has had 30 plus points in 3 of his last 4 versus the Hornets. We obviously know Plumlee is out. We saw what Vucevic just did to him. I think Giannis will be able to dominate in the paint. He's had 30 plus in 3 of 4. In the one game he missed, he had 29 points in that one. I think he has a good chance. I think the Bucks are 8.5 point favorites. They're at home. I think they should be able to get that done. I think they're at home, I believe. Now, the other leg, Joel Embiid, 30 plus points. You already heard me talk about it. He's absolutely dominated this Boston Celtics team. I think he could do that again today. So we'll ride with him again. And then Christian Wood, 14 plus rebounds, plus 130 as a whole. Yeah, he's had 14 plus rebounds in all 3 games versus OKC this year. I think he can get it done. So we'll ride with him again tonight. Now, boom, that is all you're going to see. Now, like I said, reminder, podcast or the live stream later tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you come out and check it out. Be our first one back. Show Dimers a lot of love. Click that landing page down below in case you want to sign up for some sportsbook bonus offers. And number 2, our weekly podcast every single Wednesday. We'll be live later this morning, so make sure you check that out. I appreciate you guys. Let's go for our 7th winning night in the last 8 days. I'll see you guys on the live stream a little bit later today. I appreciate you guys for all the support. If you're new, click that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.